Alright, bro. I am 18, about to turn 19 in a couple months. Now look, I'm no millionaire, I'm not claiming to know everything. I'm just a regular dude that wants to share some information that I would tell to my younger self. So if you are 13 to 19 or even 20, stick around because I truly believe this video will have a ton of information for you. We'll go from the least to the most important. So lock in. The first thing that I would tell my younger self would be to not be a people pleaser. As a teenager, it's natural to want to fit in and be liked by your friends. But when the desire to be liked turns into a habit of pleasing others at the expense of your own happiness, you go down a destructive path. Your uniqueness is what makes you valuable. If you lose it, you stop being your authentic self. You may even attract friends that like the version of you that you present rather than the real you. I remember being 12 or 13 and I would see those people that would light themselves on fire just to keep others warm. But as a result of that, they lost what made them unique. They never really built deep, lasting relationships. They simply got taken advantage of over and over again. So if you ever feel the urge to please others at your own expense, ask yourself, is this really who I am? Number 2, don't have a victim mentality. Winners define themselves by what they made happen. Losers define themselves by what happened to them. Throughout your life, things will happen to you. Perhaps you'll think they were unfair and you didn't deserve them. But here's the thing. Wherever it is that you attribute responsibility to, power flows to them. So let's say something unfortunate happens in your life. A breakup, for example. If you say it was that person's fault, she was the culprit, she was the one that destroyed the relationship, well then, you will have learned absolutely nothing and will probably repeat the same mistakes in the future. If you place the blame on yourself, however, you can answer the question, what did I do that caused this to happen? And this is a very hard thing to do because of our egos. We're always pushing the blame outwards. A mature person lets go of their ego in search of bettering themselves. So don't let your ego hold you back. Number 3, start reading earlier. I started reading at the age of 16, and the influence it had on my life, my character, my traits, it was immense. I read about psychology, finance, habits, the basics. At this age, everything I read was new. So the amount of information that you can absorb is huge. If you manage to start reading at an early age, you'll be doing your future self a massive favor. And also start working out if you haven't yet. Your hormones are in their prime to create muscle. But even more crucial than that, if you start working out at an early age, you will be building a habit that will hopefully last you till the end of your life. It's much easier to simply continue the habit you built when you were a teenager, rather than having to create a brand new one when you are 40 or 50 years old. So get used to it while you're young. Number 4, don't be afraid to take risks. I want you to do an exercise with me. I want you to close your eyes and try to visualize yourself from the outside of your body. Now zoom out from a bird's eye view. You see your house, you see your city, your country, you see the earth, you see the solar system, you see our galaxy. Whenever I start overthinking about the problems that I have, the fears that I have, I zoom out like this because it gives me a different perspective in life. It makes me realize how insignificant we really are in the grand scheme of things. So if you need to take a big decision in your life, remember that it's never as important as you think it is. Number 5, look into the future. Ever since I was young, I would look into the future and project how my life would be in the next couple of years. And I then asked myself, what would it take for me to get there? And even though I'm still young, even at this age, you already start to see people who regret their actions, because in the past they lacked the vision to set themselves up for the future. And now that the future has caught up to the present, they regret their past actions. I'm not saying that at 15 you have to figure out where you want to be at 30 or 40 years old, but try to think 1, 2, or even 5 years ahead. Try to see in which stage of your life you'll be by then, and prepare yourself for it. Number 6, document things. I've mentioned this before, but I used to be that dude that only took 3 pictures per year. As a result, I don't have many pictures from when I was a teenager. Back then I used to think, oh, that's cringe, I just want to enjoy the present moments. But as I grew older, time started flying, and I decided I would start documenting my life. And at this point, I already get so nostalgic when I see a video from 8 or 9 months ago. So, I have no idea how it will be 20 or 30 years into the future, and I look back to these videos. I just think it would be a shame for us to not record any moments, given that we're always carrying a camera in our pockets nowadays. So there's really no excuse. Number 7, and the last one as well, be wary of your influences. When you are a teenager, you are basically a sponge. You may not notice it, but you are always absorbing the things around you, taking in your environment. And this still happens to me at 18, I don't think it ever stops happening throughout our lives. But as a teenager, it's especially dangerous because you don't have an identity yet. You literally haven't lived enough to build certain boundaries around you. 87% of adults who smoke on a daily basis smoke their first cigarette before they were 18. And this is because, if you're a 30-year-old that doesn't smoke and someone offers you a cigarette, you simply say, no thank you, I don't smoke, because that's part of your identity, that's who you are. But if you are 15, you don't have boundaries yet. You don't know your true self, because frankly, it doesn't exist. And without those rails to guide you, you become extremely more persuadable. And this doesn't just apply to your friends, it also applies to the content that you watch on social media. But I guess if you're watching this type of videos as a teenager, you're doing okay. Those were the 7 things that I would tell my teenage self. The reason I decided to make this video was because I was frankly just reflecting on my life and reflecting about the fact that the younger you are, the bigger the impact the decisions will have on your future. This vertical line is the time, and the line that starts at the beginning basically represents the fact that 2 people that had a similar start in life, perhaps they went to the same school, both of them made an important decision, but they chose different paths. One of them went on to live a really happy life, the other one not so much. And towards the end of their life, once again, they made a very important decision. This time around, the one who got it right was the other guy. But this still wasn't enough to make up the damage he had suffered from the decision he made when he was young. So it's kind of a dichotomy, the fact that the time in which your decisions have the biggest impact is also the time where the least information is available to you. That's just a little thought that I had. But yeah, I'll catch you in the next one. Love you.